Questions of guilt and responsibility in the outbreak of war entered this story even before the war had begun. The entire source record is full of ascriptions of blame. This was a world in which aggressive intentions were always assigned to the opponent and defensive intentions to oneself. And the judgment delivered by Article 231 of the Treaty of Versailles has ensured the continuing prominence of the war guilt question. Here, too, the focus on how suggests an alternative approach, a journey through the events that is not driven by the need to draw up a charge sheet against this or that state or individual, but aims to identify the decisions that brought war about and to understand the reasoning or emotions behind them. This does not mean excluding questions of responsibility entirely from the discussion. The aim is rather to let the why answers grow, as it were, out of the how answers, rather than the other way around. This audiobook tells the story of how war came to continental Europe. It traces the paths to war in a multi-layered narrative encompassing the key decision centers in Vienna, Berlin, St. Petersburg, Paris, London, and Belgrade, with brief excursions to Rome, Constantinople, and Sofia. It is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 focuses on the 2 antagonists, Serbia and Austria-Hungary, whose quarrel ignited the conflict, following their interaction down to the eve of the Sarajevo assassinations. Part 2 breaks with the narrative approach to ask 4 questions in 4 chapters. How did the polarization of Europe into opposed blocs come about? How did the governments of the European states generate foreign policy? How did the Balkans, a peripheral region far from Europe's centers of power and wealth, come to be the theater of a crisis of such magnitude? How did an international system that seemed to be entering an era of détente produce a general war? Part 3 opens with the assassinations at Sarajevo and offers a narrative of the July crisis itself, examining the interactions between the key decision centers and bringing to light the calculations, misunderstandings, and decisions that drove the crisis from one phase to the next.